Hi folks, I wanted to demonstrate how to copy the testimonial slider from the index page or whatever page it is in your template into another page. Typically it's something you're probably only going to have on one or two pages within your site, but let me show you how to go about taking that particular component and copy it in. Now in the default layout you'll usually find that the testimonial slider is within its own content section. Basically it takes up the full width of the page, or it'll take up the center width of the page, and there's nothing positioned on the left or the right of it. You could take the slider and pop it into a region in the middle of the page, and maybe your template has it in such a region, or you could have it put into its own what we call a content section where it takes up the full width of the page and there's nothing positioned on either side. So let's just jump into our site and see how that works. Right, so to copy the testimonial slider, first of all, open the page where you see it in the template package. That's probably the easiest way to do it. We'll pop this open. We'll scroll down on the page until we find the placeholder graphic and just click on the placeholder graphic. There we go. And what we're going to do is I'm going to suggest you switch over to code view for this one. Right? Although you could just use the quick tag selector bar, and in this case what you do is you'd start with the web bot over here and work your way up until you get right to the tag that's next to the DWT editable and click it. All right, and then you would edit and copy, and then you can go into another page and paste it directly via that means. However, sometimes it's tricky to find the best place to paste it, so this is why I do this in code view. I just sort of select my component, switch to code view. I see that in this particular case, the div class of content container wrapper and container and row, as well as my component and the closing div tags, are all selected for me. So that's perfect, because if I wanted just the component, I would select just the middle bit of code. If I want the component to be, or to go into a page and have it display the full width of the page or take up an entire what we call section, then I would grab the div class of container wrapper, the container and the row as well as the three closing div tags below it. So basically this entire block of code here. Okay, I would copy this. Oops, I'm just trying to make it easy for you to see. Copy. I would go into whatever page I want to paste it into. Services may be a good page. That may be a page that would work. Scroll on down, and here's the tricky part. I need to find a section where I can paste this in that is above or below an existing section. And how do you find that? Well, typically if you go down, you could sort of obviously start off in the design window. When you're pasting into a page that already has existing columns, basically your only choice is going to be paste above or below all the existing content. Pasting in the middle is going to be a little bit tricky. I would suggest you just paste above or below. So find some content in your page, select it, then switch to code view so you can go to that spot in your page right away. And what we're going to do is we're going to sort of find the main editable region here. This is where the main content is located in your page, and right below that yellow bit of information where it says main, we're just going to put our cursor and we're going to paste. So now we have the testimonial slider located above the content in its own section. So if I were to save this and preview our services page, we would see that component show up. However, there is one other important thing I should mention first. When we copy a component from one page into another, we also need to make sure that if there's any style sheets for that component, we copy those over as well. I should have started off with that. My apologies, folks. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the index page. We'll scroll up to the component style sheets section and take a look to see if there's anything in here for the testimonial slider. And there it is right there. The only way you're going to know is just by sort of reading each one. It's sort of listed by library components or library sliders. Those are the folders, followed by the component folder name. You know, contact panel, full screen slider. Just work your way down. If you don't see anything, that means that particular component does not have its own style sheet. We do have things like the quote rotator or the featured video. Those components do not require any extra CSS above and beyond what we've already included in the base framework, where these components like the testimonial slider, they require a good deal of their own customized styling. So instead of having a style sheet with a lot of extra CSS in there that may not be used for every page in your site, we've created specific style sheets for these components. That way you're not bogging down every page with a lot of CSS that isn't required. You're only putting the CSS into the pages that needs it. The pages will load faster that way. All right, so in this case we have our testimonial slider. So copy this link here and go to the page that you're pasting your component into, and you will find a component style sheets section. Just expand that, paste the link to the component you're copying in, and then of course we have the component code down here which you've already copied and pasted. So now let's just save this and let's just preview this in our browser. There we go. There's our services page, and it now has the testimonial slider in here. Now just for fun, what if we wanted this testimonial slider to go into maybe a section of our page like here? Maybe we wanted it to go into our About Services. We can do that as well. Here's a quick demonstration of what it would look like. There it is. There's the testimonial slider right there. We got our buttons and all that. It resizes automatically for you. Isn't that cool? Here's how to do it. Now we'll go back to our tool here. Okay, so in the original copy paste, we pasted the link up top here, which we still need to do. And then down below on the page, we copied the entire section for the testimonial slider. I also mentioned that if you want just a component and you don't want it to go full screen, you just want it to go into a part of the page, you only need the component itself. And this is the component right here. It's wrapped in a comment tag called testimonial slider. So if you want to paste this into an area of your page, like into a column in your page, you can do so. What you would do is just sort of take just these 4 lines here. You would I'm going to cut it because I don't want it listed up above, and you need to go find a section to paste it into. And usually what I do in this situation is I sort of scroll down my page. I go, I want the testimonial slider to go right between these 2 paragraphs, right? So I'm going to just hit enter, type in slider here, which I'm going to remove shortly. I'm just going to select that text like so. I'm going to switch over to code view, and you see how I have the text selected here? It takes me right to that spot in the page that I need to paste the slider. Cool. So I'm just going to hit my enter key a few times and paste like so. And just because I want to be neat and tidy, I'm going to line things up here. Not that I have to. And then I'm going to remove this slider tag. I'm just going to get rid of this entire slider here thing because I don't need that. Like so. I'm going to save. I go back to my design view. What do I see? Oh, I see the little placeholder image. That's cool. Okay, so it looks like it's in there. If I preview this page in a browser now, here's what I get. Boom. Now the component is in the middle of a column in the middle of your content, and it works just as advertised. How about that?